folks, are you looking for a cozy exploration game you can play solo or as a small group? Then today's review of Brambletrek might be for you. We received a review PDF copy of this game, and the first thing that caught my attention was the beautiful artwork. It's very cute, yet evokes the idea of exploration. Quick info about the setting. Brambletrek takes place in Akeroth, which is a setting that recently came out for 5e and Pathfinder. This particular game focuses on the mousefolk known as Gnawborn, each of whom dreams of venturing beyond their homes to seek their own destiny. So what is this game? It is a GM-less RPG about these mousefolk on a journey played with only a deck of cards and a journal. It is designed mainly to be a solo RPG, but there are rules for up to 4 players. And as with most solo RPGs, it is much more of a reflective and introspective game focused on creating the story of the character's journey rather than winning any particular goal or encounter. In fact, there are no clear rules for an end to the game, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. As a solo game, I do find having an end or goal your character is working towards provides some very welcome structure. Now, your character does have a reason for adventuring, and this can provide you with that goal, I guess. On the other hand, this allows you to create a game as short or as long as you like. Your character could go on an adventure that's only a few days, or you could play a sprawling adventure playing over a number of sessions, essentially creating a novel. Before I get too much further with my thoughts, here's an overview of how the game is played. You play using a notebook, character sheet, and a deck of standard playing cards. You probably already have that at home, and if not, there's even a suggestion of an online deck you can use. The basic rules are pretty easy. It fits onto one page. You draw cards to determine the events of each day. Additional cards are drawn for class abilities and in combat, if that even comes up. And your character's survival is determined by 3 key resources, their health, morale, and supplies. As you go, you create a journal from your character's perspective of the events. You get to fill in the specifics and details, and at the end, you'll have created the story of your character's journey. Creating a character is pretty straightforward. You pick a reason for adventure, background, trinket, resources, and legacy. Legacy is your class. There are only 4 options, but they're kind of broad options, so you can, again, fill in the details. Reason, background, and trinket can all be things that you come up with on your own, or you can draw and use the included table to randomize. There are 7 prompts for each of these provided, which I think provides a nice groundwork for inspiration. If you're playing this game over and over, you're probably going to want to come up with your own rather than reuse these prompts again and again. Then you draw cards to determine the stats of your character's 3 resources, health, morale, and supplies. I do like that the resources include morale. It's all about motivation and hope, reinforcing kind of the positive vibe of this game, and that your character should be wanting to go on this journey and, be motivated to go on this journey. Also, if you run out of a resource, the game is not over. Your character doesn't die. Rather, you lose a day in order to regain one of these resources, and you get to write about, how did they regain this resource? So did they stop and, gather some materials to find food and re-up their supplies? Did they take a day to bandage their wounds to heal their health? Did they just kind of take a mental health day to improve their morale? You waste a day, but it's all about the journey. So it's not really that much of a hindrance. The 4 legacies that you choose from all offer an ability boost as well as a flaw, so that kind of balances it out, as well as a once-a-day ability. The rules for combat, again, pretty straightforward. You are drawing cards to determine your order, the events, and your attacks. But you also don't have to engage in combat if your character chooses to overcome the obstacle another way. I want to take a brief moment to thank all of our patrons, especially Alicia. If you want to support our channel and pick up some cool perks along the way, head on over to patreon.com/rollforinitiative. So all of the prompts that you have in this game, whether it's for building your character, and especially the prompts for the encounters, for what happens, the events throughout the day, are vague. They are there to aid you. So they are specific in some ways, but still vague on details. So it's really up to you how you choose to interpret the prompt. For example, you could encounter a band of bandits demanding a toll for passing, or an animal befriends you, offering companionship and guidance. Then you get to decide who are the bandits and what demands are they making, or what kind of animal is it and what guidance does it offer. There are both kind of positive and negative event cards that you can draw from, either red or black. Now, you are going to be using the rulebook a lot as you play, referencing the events, items, as well as other rules as you draw these cards. As with a lot of solo or GM-less games, this is pretty standard, and it's not a big book, and the PDF is pretty easy to navigate, so flipping back and forth is not going to be that big of a deal. Personally, I'd print out the PDF or opt for the physical book, as I find that easier to kind of flip back and forth. Included in the rulebook is the character sheet. Keeping with the kind of whimsical art style, this is a straightforward sheet that provides enough space for both small as well as large handwriting to be able to keep track of all of the mechanics of your character. We were also sent along the character journal, and for me, I think this is a must-have part of this game. You could get away with just using a regular journal, but this, I think, is going to make things a lot smoother because it provides the structure for each daily entry. There's a place for each card drawn to be noted, a spot to doodle an opponent, keep track of items and rewards, recovery, and combat tactic. And then on the other side is space for your journal entry. I like this because you can have it open and see the entire day, the mechanics on one side, and then your interpretation and elaboration on the other. Playing through a few days, I drew first and filled in the mechanic page, then wrote the daily entry. As I was drawing cards, I was already kind of imagining the details and filling those in my head, but I found it nice to be able to see kind of the whole day before I started actually putting pen to paper. And you may decide to do it this way or choose to do it slightly differently. It's up to you. Overall, I think this game is very fun. It's clearly well thought out and has those like fun, cozy core vibes a little bit that I know I particularly enjoy at times. And I think it's great for adults as well as kids. I could see this game being a really fun way to introduce gaming to your family. The multiplayer rules maintains the individual journal entries, but the group draws and then decides collectively how they approach the day's events. So you still end up with your individual character's perspective of this group journey. If you're interested in Brambletrek, check out their campaign on Backer Kit. I'll put a link in the description. So what do you think about Brambletrek and journaling RPGs in general? Have you played any? Let's chat more about it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Roll for Initiative. Bye!